Hello, my name is Lahiri Nanda and this is Hustling from Home. We're going to continue talking about the impact that COVID-19 is having on businesses nationwide. I have with me today Mr. Pankit Desai, who is the CEO and founder of Sequretek, which is a well-reputed cybersecurity company. Thank you for joining us, Pankit. So let's begin. Tell me a little bit about the day-to-day interactions between your employees and your clients that involved physical interactions before the lockdown occurred.
So there are two parts of the organization. One that faces the customer on a day-to-day basis. One part of that organization is around sales, pre-sales, who primarily are responsible for working with customers to identify a new set of requirements and then ensuring that those are met. The second part of that customer-facing organization, the delivery organization, that ensures that the commitments that have been given by the sales team kind of get executed on. And then there is the entire set of organization that is responsible, one, for building the products that we finally deliver to the market, and the other part which is responsible for ensuring that the customer's infrastructure that we monitor on a 24/7 basis does that work effectively. Irrespective of where you are, collaboration between the teams is an essential part of how we do business. It is very, very important for us and our teams to interact because at any point of time, there may be an exigency that may come up in a customer situation. And since we deal with security, you have to be very careful about ensuring that you're very responsive to the situation that may emanate. So therefore, the entire team has to get together depending on the circumstance and respond to that threat in a very real-time basis. So that's a part of the organization that continues to interact almost on an hourly or a daily basis.
And what alternatives to physical interactions have you come up with in order to ensure that these operations are being fulfilled?
So it was a bit of a challenge. We had to figure out how do we deliver the same level of service to our customers without any hindrances. Second, how do we ensure that we still maintain the same security hygiene that our customers have come to expect of us, even if we go from a work to home perspective. And last but not the least, ensure that the productivity doesn't get hampered amongst our working folks. So we looked at a bunch of technologies, whether it is in terms of collaboration capabilities that allow people to talk to each other very well, using very strong security technologies. And a good part for us is that we have our own security products, which kind of came very handy. So we have a product in the area of endpoint security that we were able to effectively deploy. We have very strong monitoring capability that we were able to deploy. So ensure that the entire package, whether it is service delivery, operations, security hygiene, gets maintained, and our customers don't see a dip in their capabilities or service levels, irrespective of whether you're working from home or whether you're working from office.
All right, so that's one impact that the lockdown is having on your company's operations. Can you tell me a little bit more about other kinds of impacts that the lockdown may be having on your employees specifically?
I should say that it would have impacted. There is obviously a pleasure of coming to office, working as a team, interacting with each other. Human beings are social animals. To that degree, you draw comfort in crowds. When you work from home, you are, myself, if you get stuck with a problem, you really have to figure out how will you solve it. In the office, you could have just walked up to 3-4 of your colleagues and then figured out how to get those questions answered. When you're at home, you have to figure out who you will call and how you will explain. So to that degree, there's always a challenge when you work from home. But I would like to see the plus side. The plus side that I see is that being in office makes you ad hoc in a lot of ways. You don't have your structured processes and calls. You want to get answers to the problems fairly immediately. You can just go and talk to someone. So your hygiene of how you operate tends to be kind of ad hoc. When you work from home, it drives a lot of structure and a process. So you really have to make sure that you're at the start of the day, you have a task list already identified. You have a cadence mechanism that ensures that you are able to follow on what you said and how you will deliver at the end of the day. You have your review calls. So a lot of that, which would have been otherwise kind of difficult to implement in an office environment, makes it much easier when you're forced to work remote. And I'm hoping to carry this practice back at some point in time as and when this lockdown kind of gets lifted.
So based on that then, what are you as your employees leader doing to ensure that your employees remain mentally and physically healthy during this very emotionally trying time?
So two parts to this. One is in terms of the information overload that we are seeing. There's so much of fake news and negative news that comes out. We have a daily newsletter that goes out from our CEO's office, kind of capturing the truth behind the numbers and the scenarios. It allows us to be able to stay honest with the facts. So therefore, you don't get distracted with a set of negative news that we all seem to be consuming at large these days. Other is timely breaks, allowing people to understand that while you can't step out of your house, you are always required, and you kind of get up every hour, take a walk, make sure that you don't have a very sedentary lifestyle, ensuring that your physical fitness stays as good and as important as your mental alertness and fitness.
So, Pankit, what kind of healthcare or healthcare benefits do you provide to your employees?
So we have a very good healthcare plan that we've been using for quite some time now, and I would say we're very happy with the way that healthcare providers is servicing us. The thing that works in our favor is that we are a much younger population, our average age being about mid-20s. That ensures that the money that we contribute towards healthcare goes really far for the folks who are unfortunate enough, either because of the age or the circumstances, that may need access to that specific higher drawdown. We made sure that the program continues to support us even in this pandemic situation should an eventuality arise in terms of someone getting impacted. Touch wood, thankfully, no one so far has in our team has gotten impacted yet.
All right. So then, how has the financial health of your company been impacted by this lockdown? And what do you predict might happen to it in the future, post-lockdown?
So I would say so far it hasn't impacted yet. I mean, most of our contracts are kind of long drawn, so we haven't seen a cliff, so to say. But I wouldn't like to hazard a guess whether this is going to continue. We are seeing horror stories of how economies across the world and businesses are getting impacted. It would be foolhardy for me to assume that we will be immune to that dip. Now, having said that, security, I would say, in normal circumstances is important. In these circumstances where you are supposed to work from home, and most of this is going to be on a set of devices that are not going to be owned by you, it's going to be even more important. So, as a viability of this business and viability of what we are trying to do, I think that relevance is not going to go away. Having said that, there will be a short-term hit that we expect anywhere between 3 to 6 months, where we will have customers or rather most in this situation more prospects who would be dithering on whether they should go and invest money. Simply for them, if they are not going to survive as a business, where is the question of them investing even in security? So for them, first question will be about making sure that they survive. And if they survive, then we will have to figure out how to help them stay secure in the post-COVID world.
So, could you please tell me a little bit about the impact that the pandemic and the subsequent lockdown has had on the cybersecurity industry as a whole?
I would say, as I said earlier, very positively from a long-term perspective. It has really brought to forefront the whole challenge of a connected world. Most enterprises were built and structured in a way that they were kind of insular. So you had an office and you would have a set of individuals working in the office. But none of them had envisaged that the entire workflows one fine day would stop coming to office, and you were still expected to provide same level of access and rights and privileges irrespective of where you are working from. Now that poses a significant challenge for organization on two parts. One is that you yourself have never thought about this in your business continuity process, and you will need to therefore think on the feet and work with your partners to ensure that you have the ability to give your businesses an assurance that while they want to and they need to work from home, you have adequate security measures that can support them. So I would say the demand for security will only go up if this is how businesses will continue to operate. So in long run, this is going to benefit the security industry. How, when, what, time will tell.
And if you were to advise other cybersecurity companies in the industry, what advice would you give them to get through this pandemic in a healthy manner?
So it starts with relevance. It is very important that we as a cybersecurity industry figure out a way to help our customers in these toughest times. Unless you can prove yourself as an indispensable part of their success, there is no way you can stay healthy and financially stable. These are very, very tough times for our customers where they are being forced to innovate and do things that would have been never in their wildest dream been even imagined. They are being forced to take decisions from right from the way the employees will be working to how their devices will be interacting to how the data center and how the applications are supposed to work. Very, very important, therefore, that we continue to innovate and be responsive to that changing dynamic. I personally feel that if we do these right things and right by our customers, we will have earned their trust. And as they come out of this economic travesty in with complete or to the extent possible unscathed, we will rise with them, and we will be someone that they will look at, who they will look at for all their future needs, and look for us to scale as they scale back the organizations.
All right, well, thank you for speaking with us today, Pankit. And to all of you out there, I hope you stay safe, stay informed, and keep hustling.